Back on my cliche lyrical shit, you know what I'm saying? Check. Yo, beaming through like a sunroof for the vibe. I've been less impressed with your lyrics, I'm not gonna lie. Spending all my time writing rhymes and getting high. It's better than the job shit, I was barely getting by. My team is on the rise, we leave it to the sky and the clouds, doing rounds to keep our names fresh in the town.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Rod, aka Modest Media. Yes, I'm the guy that's behind the camera. You have seen me in front of the camera a little bit this year, but unfortunately today Huey isn't here, so this will be the only time you see me in front of the camera. But before I get behind the camera and get to the other guys' list, I wanted to at least come in front of the camera right now to give you my top 10 albums of the decade. The way we broke this one down is our number one albums of each year, starting with 2010 all the way up to 2019. So that's the way we decided to break it down. We have something special that we're going to do for Patreon. If you follow us on Patreon, we're going to list our albums a different way. But again, Feefo will tell you about that as he opens up all the videos. So without further ado, here's my top 10 albums of the decade. 2010, I picked Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. 2011, I have Kendrick Lamar, Section 80. 2012, I have Rock Marciano, Reloaded. 2013, I have Earl Sweatshirt, Doris. 2014, I have Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, Pinata. 2015, I have Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. 2016, I have Schoolboy Q, Blank Face. 2017, I have Jay-Z, 444. 2018, I have Benny the Butcher, Tenor Talk 3. 2019, I have Griselda, What Would Sheen Do?
Okay. All right, so for 2010, this was very easy. It was Kanye West with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. For 2011, I had Cunnilinguist with Wonderology. 2012, I had LP with Cancer for Cure. 2013, I had Run the Jewels 1. 2014, I had Run the Jewels 2. 2015, I had Chesky with Broken Bone Ballads. 2016, I had Run the Jewels 3. 2017, I had Sadistics Alters. 2018, I had Jean Grey and Quelle Chris with Everything Is Fine. And 2019, Billy Woods Hiding Places.
2010, my list of decades, of course, we're talking about. 2010, I have Rock Marciano with Marsburg. At 2011, I have Elzai with Illmatic. 2012, I have Rock Marciano Reloaded. At number 13, on the instrumental project, I got Tall Black Guy, 8 Miles to Monarch. In 2014, I have Run the Jewels 2. 2015, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. 2016, Kai, Honor Killed the Samurai. Jesus Christ, these last three. 2017, Rock Marciano, Rosebud Revenge. 2018, Rock Marciano, Behold the Dark Horse. And y'all know my 2019, Rock Marciano, Marcilago.
So for the decade starting in 2010, I got Rick Ross, Teflon Don. And 2011, I got Kendrick Lamar, Section 80. In 2012, I got Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. In 2013, I got Childish Gambino, Because the Internet. In 2014, I got Run the Jewels 2. In 2015, I got Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. In 2016, I got Schoolboy Q, Blank Face. In 2017, I got Kendrick Lamar, Damn. In 2018, come on, man, R.I.P., Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap. And then this year, you already know, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, Bandana.
The best hip-hop albums of the decade are 2010, Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. 2011, Kendrick Lamar's Section 80. 2012, Brother Ali's Morning in America and Dreaming in Color. 2013, Run the Jewels. 2014, Run the Jewels 2. 2015, Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. 2016, Schoolboy Q's Blank Face. 2017, Odyssey's The Iceberg. 2018, Jean Grey and Quelle Chris, Everything Is Fine. 2019, Quelle Chris, Guns.
Man, look, then in hip hop, we already into 2019, right? but we just finished the decade, so we wanted to give y'all our favorite albums of every single year. Now, you know, we're not always the best at communicating the rules for such, so there was a lot of confusion when we made this. A la Myke didn't know that we could kind of change what we placed as number ones before. Me and B were on the same wavelength. Like, do we just pick our favorite albums regardless of the year?
And I did. Can I get that list too?
Yeah. No, we're going to get that list. We're going to get that list because I got a whole list for that too. And it's different than what it was for
the year.
Per year. And then I even messed up on my own for 2010 because I really thought this album came out in 2009. That 2010, man, yeah, I messed around. Originally, I had Rick Ross, Teflon Don, which is one of my favorite Rick Ross albums. However, I thought Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, came out in 2009. So that's my mess up, but that is definitely the best album of that year and my favorite Kanye West project. So, you know, no disrespect to Kanye. I'm sorry. So me and B.
And Ken.
Oh, you did one too?
Yeah.
All right, so me, B, and Ken, look, we love everything that you do to help promote your boys. Number one, subscribe to the channel. Number two, watch the video, hit the like button if you like it. But the biggest and best way that you can support what we do here at Dead End Hip Hop, Dead End Media Group, Dead End Studios, everything Dead End, is by becoming a Patreon. Go to the Patreon link. We're gonna have something special there. Me, Ken, and B are gonna drop our list. It's not a per year list. It's just our favorite albums of the decade, regardless of year.
Favorite 10 albums.
Our favorite 10 albums.
the
So
decade.
if it's all from 2013, then it's all 2013 albums. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but I'm just saying, just so you understand the difference versus what we're doing here on YouTube versus what will be up on Patreon. So just make sure you go over there, support your boys. We appreciate it.
I guess I'll try to do that list too. Then.
Cool.
Oh, thanks for being a
So
team
that means
player,
Rod
bro.
needs to do it too. So all of
Yep.
us.
Yeah,
all of us gotta do it.
So where are we starting off on this one? Where are we starting off?
Let's start off with, let's just go by the year, right? So
Go by the year.
Right, so 2010, what was yours?
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You gotta etch it out and scratch out Teflon Don.
Anybody had anything different from that?
I did. I had
Alright, so
Mars,
we
bro.
had what?
Rock Marciano.
Alright, so why Rock Marciano over My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy?
Because you're not gonna sit here and pretend you didn't like that
Oh,
album.
I
Yeah.
did. I love
So are you taking it out because of your little protest with Kanye?
No, I still listen.
Be honest.
I know what I'm
So Rock
saying.
Marciano's album is better than My Beautiful Dark
I
Twisted
personally
Fantasy.
like it better because it started a whole wave. It changed a lot of shit that people in the underground love today. Rock Marciano, he's the father of that. He
And My
carved that
Beautiful
lane.
Dark Twisted Fantasy changed underground and overground.
said overground.
and shit that's not even
I
near the ground.
just personally like the album a little better. I still love my
Nah,
Beautiful
you trying to do your little fuck Kanye thing. That's
No,
what
I'm
you
not.
doing. Ain't no way.
I still listen to College Dropout. I still love Late Registration.
I got to side, and obviously y'all know I'm not the biggest rock fan. I always got to say that, but I got to side a little bit with Myke on this because the cultural influence that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy had, and then also I think that Kanye is one of the greatest artists and musicians that we've had in our generation, and I think that this is his Picasso. Like, this is his best work. And if we're talking, huh?
I mean, I think Late Registration is the best album.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. Hands down.
Wow,
I've said that
hands
plenty.
down.
I said that plenty of times.
Yeah, you had it, right?
Yeah.
He like, yeah, be crazy.
Yeah, there was.
Wait, did Ken have it as 10?
Yeah, he had it for
See,
2.
Ken don't even, he's the biggest Kanye hater here.
Not a Kanye.
Yes,
you
you
are.
are.
I
You're
just call it
factual.
how I see it.
Yo, and you see it as, hey.
Yeah, like, I'm just excited to start working, baby. That's all I'm doing.
2011 had Section 80.
What you had, Mike?
I have Winterology.
That's
The correct answer.
Ken, who you had?
Section 80.
Section 80, who you had?
Illmatic.
I had Section 82, so yeah.
Hey, get off Ken's
So why the fuck you had that, and why the fuck you had
I mean, I didn't like Section 80 as much as y'all did.
Damn.
Hold on, I didn't say I didn't like it.
That's
I didn't
what
like
I'm
it.
saying.
But yo, damn! You gave me the Friday damn. But I mean, I never listened to that album.
Damn, that's
Ever,
Really?
never.
That's my favorite Kendrick project.
It is.
I'm not gonna say it's my favorite Kendrick project, but it's definitely one I go back to. Cushion Corinthians, Rigor Mortis, Bren Keisha's Baby.
Christ.
Yeah, man, like that. And here's the thing, I wasn't that high on this project back then, but it's one of those that it's like over time, it just became way better and better and better. And then it almost for me, like going back to that, it's almost like listening to Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt, right? Like that's his most wordy album in terms of Jay-Z. And you see how he's progressed from there. It's the same thing I feel like with Kendrick off of Section 80 and everything else. It's like you saw the root of what Kendrick's career was gonna be, and he's been able to branch out in the ways that he set those seeds with that project.
Illmatic, Wild Over, Section 80.
Oh, I mean, it was almost like between that. This was another album I didn't put in my top 5 at the time because it came out so late in 2011. Why You the Earn? That was. Yeah,
Yes.
Those two right there was like really fighting as in retrospect. But like I said, back then at that time. But yeah, Illmatic. I mean, that shit was just amazing. The fact that he just used a live band and just and like made that shit his own. Yeah, man, that shit.
We reviewed that too.
Yeah,
Yep. I remember that review like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I remember I ain't like that shit. I didn't like it.
I don't
like
remember that
it.
either.
We was over there. We was in your part of town. I can't like it's not far from where we stay. Remember that tunnel that got a whole bunch of graffiti. In it?
on Croc Street.
Yeah, on Croc Street.
Yeah.
That's where we reviewed that.
Yeah.
I remember that like it was yesterday. I had a black White Sox hat and everything.
Now, I will say, this is interesting, that I do listen to Why Use the Earn more than Section 80.
The Roots Undone was another one where I was considering
Yeah.
for my 2011.
Yep, I considered that too, because I remember I said The Roots Undone was a flawless album. It was one of the most perfect albums. But for me, I'm just trying to fact check, make sure that this came out at that time. But I want to say Return of Forever. It was between that and Section 80 for me, because obviously that I knew about Crit because a Crit was here, and I want to say that was 09 or something like that. But yeah, Return of Forever. It was between Section 80 and that for me.
I came really close to putting the earn on it based on what I just said. I didn't want to overcomplicate things, so I just pretty much went through whatever was on my number one list throughout the last couple of the years that we've done it, and just went with that.
Yeah, we didn't have a 20. Oh, yeah,
We had 2011.
Only changed a few, and so I almost did that because I think, and B and I talk about this all the time. I know for me, that was one of my biggest regrets is not putting that album in my top 5 that year. That
Which
was Why Use the Earn. That
Because it came out like a week before we shot it that day. I remember. So it was just like, once the album, once I sat with the album, I was like, man, this album's fucking phenomenal. So,
Yeah.
2012, I got Good Kid, Mad City.
I got the same. What about you, Ken?
Brother Ali's Morning in America, Dreaming in Color.
That was in my top 5.
What about you?
It wasn't
What
mine.
you had?
Reloaded. Like my
Oh no, I didn't have Good Kid. Good Kid almost made it. Reloaded is what made it. I have both of them written down, but I picked Rock Reloaded.
Reloaded, yeah.
Good Kid. What about you, Mike?
For 2012
12.
Yeah.
LP, Cancer for Cure.
Cancer for Cure, which is a good pick too.
And then, nope, and nothing was close.
Nothing was close. What about you? For me, Good Kid, Mad City almost beat out Rock, but I just, man, it's just that's my favorite Rock album, so it beat out Good Kid, Mad City for me.
And I feel you. For me, the only thing that would have beat it out was my favorite Big Crit project was Forever and a Day. But the reason why I went Good Kid, Mad City is I listened to it more. I also think it had bigger impact than Forever and a Day. Like, and when I go back, it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. And it was one of the first albums for me that I listened to that brought me right back to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And just the concept, I related to it so much more, even though I relate to Forever and a Day. Like, again, that's my favorite Big Crit project. But Good Kid, Mad City, to me, was just like a little step above. You know what I'm saying? So,
I don't even play that album.
which one?
And
Good Kid?
Kid, Mad City. And when a song, if I'm doing a shuffle and a song comes on, I skip it.
Really? So you don't like, you still
think it's a great album, but
Money Trees?
I think it's still a great album. It's just, I don't know, it just don't.
Almost beat Bro Ali?
No. Again, I said I didn't want to overcomplicate it, so if it was my number one, I kind of stuck with that.
2013, I had Earl Sweatshirt Doors. Who you had?
Childish Gambino because of internet.
What about you, Mike? What was it?
I had Run the Jewels.
Same.
So I'm the only one that had Freddie Gibbs Pinata.
That one was close.
Traitor.
But you gotta remember, I
That
don't
was
know if
close.
y'all remember, I'm not the biggest Run the Jewels fan like y'all.
Yeah, but that one was Pinata was
I
close.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what, man? The thing about Run the Jewels is just it's so different. Like they're not comparable. So it's like they just stand out, man. So it was like when I was looking at all the albums, I didn't know better than Run the Jewels.
2015, I had Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly, and I think a few other people did. Did you have it?
I did.
So Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly, you had it too, right?
Yeah, I had it too. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I did too.
You did?
Yeah.
What you had?
What year was this?
2015.
Chesky.
Remember,
I had to Pimp a Butterfly?
Yep. Remember, I don't like that album that much.
Yeah.
It was like number 4 or something on my list that year, but I remember people got all pissed off, and that was where what you trying to do right now.
Yeah.
That was where everyone tried to turn it into Myke hates Kendrick. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's when Mike
I think
officially
that was
became a
important
Kendrick Lamar hater.
that year I had A$AP Rocky at long last ASAP over to Pimp a Butterfly, and I still personally enjoy that album more. But when I go back, like to Pimp a Butterfly was just more culturally impactful. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just deeper. So that's why, like if I look at it and I'm like, damn, what was the best album of that year? It was a better album, even though I still personally enjoy A$AP Rocky a little bit more.
The only album I was considering for that year was Earl's I Don't Like Shit Don't Come Outside.
I almost picked up.
That was another one where I was like,
just
yeah.
2016, I had Schoolboy Q, Blank Face. I think you had it too, right?
Yep.
Ken?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
You
that's
did
just
too?
crazy.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
that's my favorite Schoolboy album.
Yeah, mine too.
Me too.
Mine
Mine
too.
too.
But
So you had it on your list? No,
No,
okay.
of course not.
But nah, that one was hard. Between that and Run the Jewels 3. That one was actually one of the only ones. And I'm trying to remember I don't even know if that was, I don't remember what number that was.
Remember, we kind of struggle with it coming out so late. And
But no, but that's why I pushed it to the next year.
Yeah, exactly. So that was around that time. I think that's how it went down that year, which is why it wasn't on mine either.
But I'm saying I'm trying to remember
For
who
that year.
was my number 2 or 3 or where Schoolboy even fell that year. But I know when I was thinking about it this time, I was like, damn, is Blank Face better to me than Run the Jewels 3? And yeah, it is. It really is, because that's my favorite Schoolboy too. So on any day that you hit me, I could flip flop on that one.
I had another album that almost made that 2016 list, which was The Game 1992. Like for me, it came down to Run the Jewels 3, Games 1992, and Blank Face, and I was like, God damn.
I think the 2 albums for 2016 that was because mine was Kai, I Know I Killed a Samurai. It was my 2016, but the 2 albums that were close was Blank Face and Royce da 5'9" Layers. It was my 2 albums that was kind of that was creeping up.
2017, I have Jay-Z 444.
Of course you do.
And it's not just like in the chorus. I just feel like that's like one of the, for me, it was like a really nice comeback. And that was the album that made me realize how he may have how people were saying that he kind of fell off a little bit. And I was like, damn, listen to that album. I was like, maybe he did, because
Listening to 444 made you think he fell
listen to
off?
444 made me think about that. Because I was thinking about Magna Carta Holy Grail. And I was like, well, damn, this don't sound anything like it. And now I kind of see what people were saying, like at the place he's in his career.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, he could be
Okay.
doing 444s and
Gotcha.
not just playing to the industry.
Yep.
So that was like, it clicked in that
Gotcha.
moment. So I was just like, wow, man, this is like a really good comeback for, and it was admirable, I thought, for him to make an album like this. So I want to say it was between this and Jid's Never
Ending Story.
Never Ending Story. And the reason why it was between those two is because I thought that was his breakout year. You know, I was like, damn, this is his breakout year. I listen to this album all the time. So yeah, it was between those two, but
I had statistics alters. I know I'm on an island with that. A lot of people were just like, what the fuck? How? never even heard of this guy.
any challenges with that?
Nah, man. Still to this day, when I put that album on, I'm just like, this shit is it's his masterpiece to me. Like, he puts out great music, and I know I'm a fucking sadistic stan at this point, but that album is just so fucking good. And yeah, nothing was even close for me. Nothing was knocking that out.
Man, if you go back in the video 2017, my top 3 were Kendrick, Big Crit and Jay-Z. Jay-Z being number one with 444. But I had to, like, oh man, this was tough. This was between Jay and Kendrick, and I had to pick Kendrick. Damn. Because I just think that it was just more impactful. Now, I look back at it, for me, and just like Kendrick again with another conceptual album, you know what I'm saying? And then he dominated that year. And even though I enjoyed Jay-Z's project, at that time 2 years ago, it was my favorite, but I still think that, or at least now I think Kendrick Lamar's Damn was a better overall project. And I still love all three of those projects that came out.
That's funny because I mean, as much as I enjoy Damn, that's still the least Kendrick. That's the Kendrick Lamar I play the least. I love this entire design.
Yep, really. Odyssey's the iceberg.
Any challenges with that, or it was pretty certain?
Yeah.
I love that album too.
Yeah.
I love that album too. 2018, I had Benny Tana Talk 3. And the reason I had that is because I felt like that was Benny's breakout album. And yeah, I fell in love with that as soon as I heard it. And so when I saw the list for 2018, I was like, it stood out like, I went straight to it. And I was just like, damn, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one. What you got?
Oh man, R.I.P. the legend, man, the great Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap. You know what I'm saying? To me, man, that was such a classic album. Whether you want to, go back and forth with me, again, hit me up in my comments and shit. I'll go back and forth. But man, it was just a culmination. Like if you were part of the whole Nip movement, like for him to finally get to Victory Lap and for it to be what it was, man, it's still sad. Like when I go back and I listen to it, like I listen to Blue Laces and stuff like that, Blue Laces 2, it's just so sad. But that album, as a Nipsey fan, was every fucking thing I wanted, bro.
Who's you have?
Oh, Jean Grey and Quelle Chris. Everything is fine.
Okay. Anything almost came close?
I don't remember. I know you're gonna ask that, and I was trying to look it up, but I wasn't typing fast enough. I don't remember. I just remember what that album dropped, and I didn't know anything about Quelle Chris except for B had been bugging me about him before, and I just didn't really listen. And no one was talking about that album, and I was like, oh, Jean Grey dropped something? Shit. It was like 3 months late. So I went and checked it out. I was like, God damn, this is fucking amazing. And I can still put that album on now and just vibe out to it. It puts you in like this weird mood. You just like lay back and just listen to these motherfuckers just go back and forth rapping. But nah, I don't think anything was super close to it, but I can't really remember.
I had the same album as Myke, and I think that year I had Rosebud Revenge too.
Uh-oh.
And
he about to slap the shit out of me. He's like, you didn't see, I wish the camera was on B's face, but he said it. He was like,
yeah. But I struggled in 2018, and sometimes I do wish I would have made a different decision, but I really, really loved that album at the time. But over time, I think that one has overtaken it. Everything is fine. I fucking love that shit.
So if you want to check out what our 2019 pick is, go and watch the top 10 of 2019. We ain't gonna say it here, we probably already did, we probably already got it, but either way, we did a whole video on 2019 and what our top 10 albums were. Obviously, number one's gonna be over there, so make sure you go over there and check it out. Also, if you're not a patron, go become a patron. We're going to list our top albums of the decade, regardless of year. So if I got 20 of them joints from 2013, it's going to be on there. But we're going to do that specifically for y'all, everybody, the entire crew, myself, Ken, Beezy 430, Myke C-Town, and Modest. We're all going to have our list, so make sure you go check that out. Support your boys.